Here's a quick word from our sponsor.
Vercel is the platform for front-end developers, providing the speed and reliability innovators need to create at the moment of inspiration. Founded by the creators of Next.js, Vercel has zero configuration support for 35 plus front-end frameworks, including SvelteKit. We enable the world's largest brands like Under Armour, eBay, and Nintendo to iterate faster and create quality software. Try out Vercel today to experience the easiest way to use Svelte.
Radio.
Hey everyone, it's K-Dog, the cool guy that is co-hosting Svelte Radio with my two beautiful co-hosts, Brittany and Antony. Hello.
Hello. Every week now you come up with this new great intro and I just die like right away.
It's funny.
Hello.
You know?
It is. It's great.
And we're also joined by Antony's Bebe.
We have another guest today. Yeah.
We do.
Yeah. She probably doesn't know that much Svelte, but Antony more than makes up for it.
But she can definitely make noise, so that's good.
Yep.
Since this is audio.
All right. So welcome everyone. Today we don't have a guest today, but we're going to talk a bit about the upcoming Svelte Summit conference, and we're going to go through the talks. And we have some pretty interesting ones. Before that, maybe we can talk a bit about what Svelte Summit is, for those that haven't heard that before. So Svelte Summit is a conference that we do twice a year, virtually this year. Last year, we did an in-person one, but so there will be more of those in the future at some point. But yeah, Brittany and I, we will be the masters of ceremony. So we will guide you through the conference. The conference is on May 6th. That's pretty important, right?
That is important.
It's free. You can catch it on YouTube. So just show up and enjoy.
And we'll be live streaming all day, right? How long is this one set to be?
This one is probably going to be a bit shorter than the other ones, which I think is good.
I'm breathing a sigh of relief. Like 12 hours sitting in front of the camera is a bit much. Yeah. So the older ones have been pretty long, and you tend to get very tired after the whole day. But there have been great talks, great interesting discussions and stuff. And so let's go through the speakers here. So last week we had Andreas on, who created Superforms, and he's also going to do a short lightning talk on Superforms at Svelte Summit. So we can see some potentially new cool features or some old features, or I don't know. Exciting. Entered into the hackathon too, right? Yep.
Have you guys tried it yet?
I have not. I don't get to play with SvelteKit very much.
I see.
Unfortunately.
I see. Yeah.
I do like in my app the component library, but not like, to publish anything. So I don't really get to do a lot with it.
No, that makes sense. I think that like you can probably try it now with another Svelte hackathon submission called SvelteLab, right?
Yeah. Very
easily probably as well. So maybe that's something you could do. It's actually very nice once you tried it. Well, you heard all about it last week. So
we skipped all the way down the list, but that's also a talk at Svelte Summit.
Yes, yeah, and we'll get there.
Yeah. Okay.
So also these aren't in any particular order. Like the schedule isn't out yet, so stay tuned for that.
Should be out before the podcast comes out.
Yes, that is true. When this is released, the schedule will be out. But the schedule isn't in the order that we're talking about the talks, if that makes sense.
We're confusing the audience today.
Yes. Sorry about that. Yeah. Next up, I'm doing a talk called "State of the Society," which I haven't really done one of those before, but I thought I'd do that. And so, talking about what we've accomplished so far and the upcoming stuff that we have planned and things like that. So that'll be fun.
I'm really excited to hear this. It might be a continuation of Swix's talk at Svelte Summit last year, where he was talking about how far we've come and like how Svelte Society like helped that grow. And now you'll talk about the future.
Yeah, but well, we'll see. It's probably not going to be as good as his talk, because his talk was great. So,
oh, come on.
And he's a really good speaker as well. So
believe in yourself. Yeah. You can do it.
I shall.
Channel Bert.
Oh, that's a good idea. Did you see his talk at Svelte London?
I didn't, but I need to go back and watch it. It was at the same time I was doing something else yesterday. So
I started watching it, and I'm gonna finish watching it later today. It was very, very interesting, as usual. It's Bert after all. So
yeah, always great.
Yeah. So what's next here? We have.
Get your keyboard out of your way with Svelte. I love the title.
Yep. Why prototyping with Svelte is faster. Why Svelte's approach to abstractions and removing boilerplate is categorically a better model for faster iteration and stronger applications. Sounds like a showcase for why you should use Svelte.
Yes. And why it increases performance and developer experience.
Yep. And this talk is by mnudge, who wants to be semi-anonymous, I think. So we'll hide his real name if anyone knows it. Yeah, and then we have one of the maintainers doing a talk. Jeff Rich is doing a talk called "Supercharge Your App's Animation with View Transitions."
And I wonder if we got a sneak preview to this one at all with one of his posts recently. He did like a whole view transitions API thing with Svelte, and it's really exciting. I'm super excited to see this.
Yeah, I have some vague memory of him doing maybe it's the same thing, but he did like a video watching website for one of the older Svelte Summits. I don't know if this is the same.
Oh, okay. I don't remember what the demo was of, but I remember there was a nav bar and like you would click and to the different page and it would stay like where you were on the page.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this might be different. Yeah. So that's going to be fun. The view transitions API is just so cool. I just wish Safari and Firefox implemented them so we can like use it now. Well, I mean, we can use it now since it's progressively enhanced, but
yes,
I think
not everyone gets the benefit.
Safari have just launched web container support, so you know.
I was just gonna say that.
Me too.
It's like Safari catch-up time. Well, I'd steal some thunder because obviously a bit quieter than normal on this one.
Yep.
So we talked to Adam Argyle yesterday on the Coding Cat Dev podcast, and we were talking about some of the things that historically Safari has been a little bit behind on, and lately it's been more Firefox that's really been lagging on some of the features, and like has support is not in Firefox yet, and Safari is really starting to catch up, but web containers was one of those things that they had not had yet. And then I got off the podcast, opened my email, web containers in Safari for StackBlitz. I was like, perfect timing.
Yeah. So I think what the Safari team they have really improved in like shipping features lately. I think we've talked about this as well a couple of times.
Yeah. I always shout out Jen Simmons because she seems to be doing amazing over there, just really getting everything. Adam had a spicy take that he's like, they just wait until everyone else has tested and done all the work, and then they like just push out features, which is valid.
Kind of makes sense. I mean, the company behind Safari and WebKit, they don't have a lot of money, so
not any money at all. Like they're just a small little
just like the world's third largest company or something. They don't have any money. No, but in all seriousness, like I'm a bit worried that Firefox is going to disappear because of this.
Yeah, I think it will. I think Mozilla is the one with no money, isn't it?
And they've been struggling, and they've had lots of cuts, and
the Mozilla thing is kind of interesting in general. Like they have all these like weird side projects and that they're like investing in. Have you seen this?
Like
There's
Google?
always like, Yeah, but they don't have the money for it. So
Yeah, which is interesting.
It's always like on Hacker News. There's always discussions about like how they should invest more in the core business of Mozilla, which is Firefox.
Yeah,
but they have all these other things.
I did not know that they had other side projects, but that is interesting. They should probably be focusing on the business that makes them money.
Mm-hmm. I just think like that's the only thing they should do. It should be like the best browser ever. That's basically it.
I have used Firefox. I know Rich does too. I've used it for years, and I still prefer their CSS tools over Chrome and other browsers.
Yeah, same. Like I try to use Firefox for things, but I always like have to switch, and it gets frustrating after a time.
Really starting to try more of the browsers that have multi emulations in them, like Polypane. I want to check that out for work, especially when you want to check like browser support across multiple ones. So I don't know, I might be branching out.
I use Firefox full time now, so
really,
yeah, and it's fine. I don't see any problem with it really.
The Svelte team is just going to keep it alive.
Yeah, maybe.
All 10 of you, or 50? No, how many maintainers are there now? It's like 20.
I don't know. I think there might be something like 30, but it's hard to say because there's not a lot of active maintainers.
People come and go.
There's more. Yeah, well, there's more historical maintainers that obviously pop up from time to time, and just depends on what they're working, where their jobs lead them and stuff. So
yeah,
they're not always actively contributing, but actively now we probably have about 15, which is pretty impressive. About half, because it's we've added a couple of new ones recently.
Yep. So you mentioned Polypane, and that's a paid product, right? There's also one called Responsely, which is open source and does kind of the same thing. I don't know if you've tried it.
I do have that one on my Windows computer, and I've used that one. Yep.
It's not as polished, but
I was like, does it emulate like Safari and all of them?
No, but I don't think Polypane does either. Like it's just Chrome.
It said you can emulate like other operating systems browsers. So I think like it has that feature where you can like see it in Safari, and I don't know how it does that. I'm sure it like has some like way that it's like capping that with JavaScript and CSS, like just.
Oh, well, there you go. I guess that's very valuable, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I guess we get back to the talks. Anyone want to grab this one?
Yeah, SvelteKit and I-1AN, or internationalization. Let's finally solve this never-ending story. That reminded me of the movie Never-Ending Story. Did you see that?
Is that the one with the big dragon?
Yes, the big white dragon. I don't remember the name of it. I may need to get my kids to watch that. Yeah. I just totally went on a tangent about a movie. Sorry.
Yeah, so this talk, it's basically about solving internationalization for SvelteKit, or Svelte, I guess. Ivan Hofer, the guy that is doing the talk, he created I think he created a project called TypeScript I18N or something like that.
Okay.
Which is very nice. Oh, it's called TypeSafe I18N.
This is one of those problems that the core team has said that is very hard to solve, correct? Yeah.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
probably way harder than you would think from the just looking at it briefly. Like there's not just the fact that you have to translate stuff, right? It's also like, for example, like just between the US and Europe, right? We have time zones. Those are different. We have no idea what Pacific time is, for example, or like 1 pound to kilos. That's something else you have to kind of convert. And the way that you speak about time and all of these things, they differ around the world, which makes this probably an impossible problem to solve.
Yeah, like you have to think about culture in so many different ways.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think I suspect that like he works with pages. Like I think he works in a country where you have to do websites that are multilingual. So I think it makes sense that they would be interested in solving this. I would be as well. Like I would love to be able to write like a Swedish website and have English as well, or the other way around.
Yeah, and the description says that if we take a look at the SvelteKit issue board, the two most commented open issues are those that are internationalization related. So over 330 comments that you can expect for the demand for an official solution. And that's, I mean, it's needed. It's just hard to solve.
Yeah, honestly, I think the way to get Svelte to grow massively is have like a proper internationalization solution that is very good.
Do other frameworks have that? Does Next have that?
I don't think it's built in, right?
Yeah.
There's probably like a React.
There's libraries, but not like unofficially.
Yeah, I don't think Angular has it either. I don't think any of them has it. But then it's also the issue isn't just like translating. You have to store the translations somewhere, right? So your CMS has to also support it, right? Because you have to store each value in multiple languages and stuff. Or that's how I assume it works. I'm not an expert in this, so I don't know.
Interesting.
But yeah. So that's going to be fun to see.
That will be an interesting talk.
Very, very. Yeah. Next up, we have Intelligent Svelte, Unleashing AI with Reactivity. This sounds like
we had to get AI in here somewhere.
Of course. Yeah, so learn how to harness the power of Svelte and SvelteKit to create elegant AI-driven experiences. Svelte stores, streaming endpoints, and Python endpoints through preprocessors. Those are magic you can only find in Svelte. So that's going to be interesting. Writing Python endpoints, I assume it's going to be instead of JavaScript in like so that would be like the pluspage.server.ts file would be a pluspage.server.py.
Like you just hit a Python server? Or do you create the Python file in the SvelteKit app?
In the SvelteKit app. That's what I think this is going to be like.
What?
So instead of writing JavaScript for your endpoints, you write Python. So we'll
Interesting.
see. Yeah.
I wonder what AI engine they're using.
Who knows? And how does AI get into this? Like, how does it all connect?
Is it like Copilot, like telling you how to code in Visual Studio Code, or?
I guess we'll see in a week.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Here's a quick word from our sponsor.
Vercel is the platform for front-end developers, providing the speed and reliability innovators need to create at the moment of inspiration. Founded by the creators of Next.js, Vercel has zero configuration support for 35 plus front-end frameworks, including SvelteKit. We enable the world's largest brands like Under Armour, eBay, and Nintendo to iterate faster and create quality software. Try out Vercel today to experience the easiest way to use Svelte.
And next up, we have Skeleton, which is one of my favorite libraries that we have in the Svelte ecosystem. It's a powerful UI toolkit for Svelte with Tailwind. And Chris Simmons is going to be talking about that and showing it off. And we just had another person join in. Hey, Swix, how's it going?
Hello. It's going well.
Welcome.
How's everyone doing? Yeah, sorry, I've been a bit in and out recently, especially because I moved to San Francisco, and now everything is 3 hours earlier.
Well, we're glad to have you back. We'll have to rethink the time that we actually record now.
Yes.
It's so difficult because we're spread out all around the world.
Yeah.
And we never know where you are. One week you're in Singapore, next week you're in New York. But it makes it exciting.
Yes, it will be fun when I move to Hawaii and like this recording is like 2 a.m. in the morning.
Oh wait, you're moving to Hawaii?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I did have a time at Netlify where I just peaced out and moved to Hawaii. That was very fun.
Oh, fun! Yeah, I would love to
bad.
live in Hawaii. Oh, that place is insane. What island were you on?
Honolulu.
Okay.
I don't know which island that is.
I think that's Oahu. I've never been to Oahu.
Yeah.
Words.
So it was basically like you wake up early in the morning, you do meetings, you do work, and then like lunchtime. After lunch, you can just like go for a dive.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's incredible.
It doesn't sound too bad. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what have you been up to?
Oh, sorry. What have I been up to? I've been diving deep on AI world. Since last year, have been going deeper. As of right now, I have I'm currently what I call AI unemployed, which is that period of time for a lot of people where they realize that whatever they're working on doesn't matter as much as getting up to speed on AI stuff. And having a job actively gets in the way of that. Therefore, you choose to take the leap, and I think that's what a lot of people have been doing. So I have started a separate podcast that is doing fairly well. Well, I mean, it's still very early days. We're only like 7-8 episodes in. But you know, one of my fun facts is that Mark Andreessen is now listening in, which is pretty cool. Because there's a lot of interest on the AI stuff, and happy to talk about that anytime you wish. And personally for me, I think that was my previous job with Airbyte was my last job, and I'm looking to start a company. I have taken on a small amount of funding to support me in this exploration.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
We were going through the list of like Svelte Summit talks, and we just talked about a talk that's going to be talking about AI.
Excellent. Yeah. As you might guess, I'm supportive of that.
maybe we could do a talk, like an episode of the podcast where we talk about like how AI could affect Svelte developers. That could be interesting. I don't know. Or web developers in general. Just going to be a Debbie Downer episode, I guess. But
it doesn't matter what framework you use. Like it's a more general purpose thing. But I think that'd be really cool. But it's pretty funny because I just came from React Miami, where I had a really good birthday because it's all about the same time.
Happy birthday!
Yeah, thank you. Well, I don't know. Once you're
and Antony too. Both of you had birthdays last week.
Right? Yeah, within a few days of each other.
Yeah.
Once you're like on the wrong side of the 30s, you're like,
oh, don't even start with me. Wrong side of the 30s.
I know.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, come on, I'm on the wrong side of the 40s now. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so all that 2 days of React Miami talks, and there was like one kind of AI talk, and it just felt a little bit like disconnected with like what people are like thinking about, and I do think that there should be more quality talks, exploring things in depth. So we'll see what happens with other conferences, but I obviously I don't like. Yes, it can get annoying for some people who want to get on with their regular jobs. So I don't want it to be too much or too intrusive, but I want the option to be there for people if they want to discuss the intersection of, let's say, AI and UX. So, like for example, I held the first AI UX meetup in San Francisco here last week, and then there will be one in New York in 2 weeks. So. It's this the crossover for UI developers into AI is happening.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I guess you get you kind of move from having to actually write the code to just type what you want. And, like, actually, let's save this for next week.
Yeah, exactly.
I think because we can go very deep on this probably and talk for a very long time about it, which is fine, but. Yeah, so we should probably get through these last few talks. Sorry. Yeah, so next up we have Svelte at Scale, lessons learned from 1 billion monthly renders.
Wow.
So this is Jacob Stoordal. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name.
I think that's correct.
They've built a JavaScript widget that's used on some of the largest e-commerce sites in the world. So that's cool to see Svelte being used in bigger. At bigger scale, even though it's just a widget, or that's probably underselling it, just a widget. But I mean,
a widget is an app, right? So a widget is an app. It's like a little app.
True.
Runs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we mentioned earlier Svelte Lab, which was a hackathon submission, and they're also doing a talk at Svelte Summit about this.
Talking about how they created it and stuff, right? Which is really exciting, like this whole web container stuff, especially with Safari just launching yesterday. So
yeah, so if you go to sveltelab.dev, you can actually use it today, and now you can also use it with Safari, as we mentioned earlier as well. So
Alex did mention that it does not look great in Safari, so I don't know like if they have everything worked out yet.
Gotcha.
Maybe don't use it as your main source.
Yep. All right, and then we have another.
Svelte,
Sorry?
do you hear me?
Yes.
That's
we can hear you. So this
that's
is by,
the name of the next talk, by the way.
Yeah, the next talk. That's Svelte. Do you hear me? Yeah. This is by Eric, who we had on the podcast a while back. He works at Nuclea, which does like AI search,
Voice recognition and voice synthesis.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's what they're doing there, but this is what the talk is about. So this is his hackathon submission that he's doing a talk about as well.
Cool.
And yeah. And then we have Dominic, who is going to do an update on the inspector. So that's going to be fun. Last year at Svelte Summit, he did a talk showing off the in-browser Svelte inspector thing that they built.
Yeah, we had a couple of experimental things with that. We're still working some things out where you can click on the inspector and it'll take you to the code in VS Code, which is really nice.
Exactly, yeah. And I think it's actually moving out of experimental now, so that's very exciting.
Yes.
And then we have two more talks. Let's talk about the last one first, like the Svelte 6 one.
Yep, we've heard a lot about Svelte recently. Like we've had them on to talk about it here, and we've seen Svelte Sirens talks on it.
Yeah, so this is basically to do 3D apps in Svelte. So I think the inspiration for this came from what Rich did a while back, something called Svelte Cubed.
Yes.
Which was basically a declarative way of using or building 3D applications. So this builds on top of that, or rather reimagines it in a sense, I would say.
Builds on top of D3, right?
Yes, I think so.
I think that's right too. I think that's the underlying JavaScript library that is less declarative code, and then Svelte Cubed was like the first kind of iteration of trying to make it more Svelte-y, and then they took Rich's idea and ran with it, and now that's kind of the recommended way to work with 3D in Svelte.
Yep. And then last but not least, we have the creator
a talk that's
of Svelte.
Always unnamed.
Yeah,
it never has a name.
Every time. So the creator of Svelte, if you didn't know, he's called Rich Harris. Yeah, no. I don't know. Some guy.
Just TBD and then secret for the description.
Yeah, but what this means in Rich Harris world is that he'll write it literally an hour before the presentation.
Yes,
it'll be like an amazing presentation, and it'll look good and everything else. And he'll spend nearly no time on it, just every time.
Oh, so we can't hope for a Svelte 4 announcement?
I mean, he might even knock out Svelte 4 at the start of the day. Who knows?
But on Svelte 4. Simon is joining me next week for the monthly devlog thing, and he's going to talk about Svelte 4 and also maybe something called an image component.
Oh, we're finally getting an image component?
I think we are.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Tuning
Luckily, this episode is going out after, so I didn't spoil anything for anyone.
You planned that perfectly.
Yeah. Those are the talks. Some very interesting ones. I look forward to the Superforms one because I'm a Superforms fan. I really like the library.
I'm a fan of so many of these. I'm really excited to see some of them, and we're going to be announcing the winners of the hackathon. We've got a lot of talks for hackathon submissions, and we'll be announcing who's winning the money.
Yeah, the monies. The
monies.
big bucks.
The monies.
The dollar bags. The $12, right?
The $12. 12 comma.
Oh, yeah. 12. The period instead of the comma. Why?
Yeah.
So yeah, 12 period rather.
Yeah. That was my fault for tweeting the wrong thing. But yeah, it's 12,000, not $12.
It's like $4 each.
Is that the Euro way to do a
No, I think I was just tired.
Oh, okay.
No,
I thought it was like literally a...
Yeah,
Is it?
it's the Euro way is dot. Yeah, dot is the number separator.
What do you do for a decimal? Like
comma,
the
I
cents?
think.
What?
From what I've seen,
yeah,
it's a
that's
comma.
right.
This is going to be another metric
That's right.
conversation.
You know, it really. I really wouldn't know an answer to this one. I don't have an opinion. Obviously I read the dot or the period, whatever, as the more logical way. That's because I'm used to it. I don't necessarily think one beats the other. We maybe should decide on one, but I don't know.
I just want a standardization, right? Like, even if we go metric, like, I just want a standard for everything in my life. Just tell me what we're going to do, and I will do that. I just don't need it to be different.
Underscore. Just underscore.
Snake case.
Yeah.
So I think let's link the obligatory XKCD comic of inventing new standards. You must have seen this, right?
No.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
I may have after.
Yeah. So it's basically there are 14 competing standards. 14. Ridiculous. We need to develop one universal standard that covers everyone's use case. Yeah. Situation. There are 15 competing standards. So we just add another one. Maybe I should become like a voice actor.
Yeah, that was good. Liked it. Enjoyed it.
Great.
You could see it in your head.
Could I maybe do like a daily Hacker News thing where I do it with like acting? Like
just read
the
through Hacker
comments of
News,
Hacker
like
News
the top
threads.
10 every day.
Yeah. Because there's
make that a
always some
video
spicy
series.
stuff in these threads. So
Yeah, go for
that
it.
could be fun.
I think that would be fun to post on YouTube, and you would get lots of views.
Yeah, probably.
Make it shorts, and then make it short inception, so you do like the videos in the videos.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Oh, we should probably mention as well, go check out the YouTube channel. We're posting a lot of short clips and YouTube shorts from the longer This Week's in Svelte. There's a new This Week in Svelte out as well for people to check out.
Every single week?
Yeah, those have been really good. I've been checking out some of those, and it's actually helpful for me to keep up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's nice to have these like shorter, like either 5 minutes or 4 minutes, and then 30 seconds or 50 seconds for a short. It makes sense because like it's a big commitment to watch like a 40-minute thing or an hour. That's a long time.
How Enrico does that with a full-time job. Like, that has to take so much prep, and he does such a good job of like recreating a lot of the issues and like going through them in REPLs and showing them off. He's doing an amazing job.
Yeah, it's super nice. It's very, very nice. And it's also very interesting stuff, like, and stuff that isn't just for Svelte developers. Like last week he did like skip links, for example. So he showed us how to, so for those that don't know, skip links are basically a way of using the keyboard to skip to the main content, basically. And so he shows us how to implement that. And
I think
that's important for all web developers to know.
Yeah, one of his big focuses is accessibility and making sure things are accessible. So like everything that he's done, like there was a button component a couple weeks ago, and just making sure that you're covering all of your bases for accessibility, which I think is really cool.
Yeah. All right. Do we have any other topics?
Oh, I forgot about our section that's coming up.
Our section? Oh, the unpopular opinions.
Yeah.
And
the unpopular opinions.
I kind of forgot about them as well, so you're not alone. Anyone have one?
I have an unpopular opinion.
Of course you do.
that is the GitHub SDK is terrible. So it uses async iterators for pagination, and I've not really encountered one in JavaScript before. I never really got into the whole yield thing. That kind of died off before I got into it. But they are borderline impossible to use, and everywhere you look at, especially like if you copy their documentation and paste it into your code, Svelte wouldn't accept it at all. Like it wouldn't even compile. But the second thing is when I looked up why it wouldn't compile or tried to understand the code they'd given me, it's the Stack Overflow post first thing said this is a terrible way to do things. It will throw unhandled exceptions, and your application will just crash randomly. So I can't figure out why they're doing it the way they're doing it. They basically using for await with an async iterator, and it's just it reads badly. It's not just decipherable to somebody sane, as far as I'm concerned. And I even pasted it to ChatGPT and asked it, what is this crap? Can you rewrite it for me? And it made an even bigger mess using a massive while loop and loads of temporary variables. So yeah, it's rubbish. So what I ended up doing is just doing my own pagination, right? Skipping their rubbish and just doing my own, sticking it in an array. I don't know why they'd choose to use that. I would say at this point, esoteric or obtuse JavaScript that no one in their right mind would ever use. So yeah, that was fun. That waited hours.
That does not sound like fun.
It's not. It's not.
No. Okay.
I have one very small one, but it is unpopular.
Go for it.
The Edge browser is actually good.
Oh, are you going to shill Bing now?
I know.
So
I think I use it I've gone from making fun of Bing to now I think I use it once a day.
We were talking about browsers earlier and saying how a lot of Svelte devs use Firefox. I used to use Firefox as my daily browser on Windows, and now I have switched to Edge because of the horizontal tabs, the tabs down the side instead of across the top. It is life-changing. I love it. I do. I like Edge, and it is not bad. It's running on Chromium too, so you're not really missing out on anything.
Yeah, I think they do some kind of preloading because I noticed that whenever I click on links and stuff, it's just faster. It's extremely fast. And I don't know if they cheat, basically. I think they cheat. But whatever, right? The user experience is really good. So
maybe I should try it.
Yeah. And I also am an Arc user. My Arc report is that I now use it less. And I'm still on Chrome. I'm talking on this remotely session with Chrome. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a force of habit, but also Arc is a little bit slower. Therefore, you feel the friction every time you open and close a window.
Yeah, I used Arc for a while as well, but then I switched to one called Orion, which is like a WebKit based one. It's very uncommon to use probably.
Because
okay,
Arc...
you win. You're the most unpopular browser.
Oh, hang on. No, I can't have that. I'm gonna claim to use Epiphany, which is definitely the rarest. It's basically Safari. It's the WebKit engine on Linux, right? So it's basically acts like Safari. Why? Because I want to test what things look like in Safari, and it's the only way to do it on Linux. But,
okay, so you're torturing yourself intentionally. Okay.
Well, he's using Linux.
I don't. Yeah, I don't really use it, but I have been known to use it a couple of times for testing things. It's quite fast.
Interesting.
I mean, if I wanted to torture myself, I'd use Mac OS X because it's terrible. It really is bad.
That's what I was going to say about Arc. The reason that I don't use Arc more is that it's Mac OS only, so I only have that on my work computer, which they, for some reason, only want us to use Chrome, so I was running into issues with using Arc and Firefox and other things with our app, so I have some things locked down, apparently.
So if I'm not mistaken, we all use different browsers.
I think so.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
probably
cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of uncommon, right? That must be very uncommon.
I use lots of different browsers, so
there's realistically only two engines there, or three engines, right? There's the Firefox engine, there's Safari,
Spider
and there's Chromium. Yeah, Spider Monkey.
It's my favorite game ever.
The UX is also a little bit different.
Sure.
And I should also plug, if you're an active web developer and you're always doing things like, I did the desktop first, and then I need to check the mobile, and then I broke something in mobile, but I need to go back to desktop. You need a dev browser. You should not be doing dev in a normal browser. You should have a browser like a Polypane.
Yep.
Or
we just plugged that earlier. Responsively or responsely.
Yeah.
Responsively
you need those things
app
running simultaneously, and then you need to sync the scrolls, and you need to be able to do things like simulate dark mode all in one screen. and then you need to buy a big ass monitor to show the whole thing. Yeah. But at least you're not reloading and switching back and forth. That is so old school.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could probably save a lot of time doing that. Yeah. All right, Brittany.
I agree. Yeah. So I don't know if my opinion is unpopular or even like coherent at this point, but I've been on Blue Sky since yesterday. So I do think that there's more genuine conversation there, and Twitter is just like spam and ads and self-promotion, which I can do away with. Twitter is like just dying. It feels like every day there's something else broken with it. But I don't think that Blue Sky is the next Twitter or really better than Twitter. And I think that it may push more people to Mastodon because it's not as open and easy to access your content, which is what people are really going for with that decentralized web. So I just don't know if it's really what people... There's a lot of hope there, but I don't think it's gonna last.
Yeah, I'm skeptical as well. I posted like my first post on Blue Sky was calling it, "This is not going to be the next Twitter," or something along those lines. It was
Nice.
Very Debbie Downer, but yeah. I don't know. I wish something else would take over from Twitter, but I think the network effect is just like way too big.
That's the thing, and that's what I wanted. I didn't even ask for an invite because I'm like, I don't really care. And then you offered me one, and I was like, okay, I'll just check it out and see what it is because everybody else is doing it. It's FOMO, but I want to know where everyone's going to be and where I can see the content, because that developer community is why I like Twitter. So I just want that community. I don't care where it's at.
They're all going to be on Blue Sky.
So Sean, you had a really fun idea for the handles using the Svelte Society domain.
Oh yeah,
I really like that.
Do it?
Yeah, I was actually looking at it today. So there's an API for the Cloudflare DNS stuff. So you could, yeah, and it's probably not going to be that hard to do it either. But I think you would still kind of want to approve it somehow. Like, would you want anyone to be able to just like, so this would be like for having your own handle using the Svelte Society domain. So you would have like kevin.sveltesociety.dev, for example, at Blue Sky, like on the app. I'm not sure, like, would we want anyone to be able to register anything? Like, we would get like things like Stalin or Hitler or
I think that's a cool like club thing though, like Svelte Society having actual members and like get the members get access to that. That's cool.
This idea was inspired by js.org, which works off of a GitHub repo, and people PR their submissions in, and then all you have to do is click approve or deny, and that's it.
That's very interesting.
That seems like a pretty simple setup. Maybe that might make more sense to do. I'll take a look at that as well.
And actually, I'm not so sure about the Blue Sky thing, to be honest. Like you just got done saying, like, you know, I also am a little bit skeptical about how long it's going to stick around. But I was more interested in like, hey, people can host their personal sites on a Svelte Society domain, and that could be cool.
Yeah, that could be fun. Like a throwback to GeoCities.
Yeah.
And maybe we have.
And I know that definitely can be done. Yeah.
Yep. That could be
or it could be like, hey, if you have a Svelte project, host your docs on like this domain, and you'll be very clear it's a Svelte project.
Why is it on a subdomain staging.bluesky.app? That bothers me.
Probably because it's not done yet.
Yes. It just bothers me.
Yeah, it's frustrating. But yeah, okay. I don't have an unpopular opinion. Well, I probably have many, but not one that I can come up with off the top of my head. Picks? Anyone have one?
Yeah, I picked this on the other podcast, but it's good enough to pick again because The Diplomat was like the best show I have seen. It's from the writer that wrote Homeland and West Wing, and it was just, we watched it in like 2 days, the whole series, and there was a cliffhanger, and they're not making another season until possibly next year. So I now have to wait a really long time, and I'm very sad, but it was really good.
I was a bit worried you were going to say they've canceled the show with like a cliffhanger.
It actually hasn't been picked up yet, which is a little worrying too, but I can't see why they wouldn't. It's #1 on Netflix right now.
Well, Netflix has canceled popular shows before.
They totally have.
They have.
But they're losing a lot of money, so they need to figure that out.
Yeah. If they only rewrote everything in Rust. Then
Yeah,
solved.
that would have definitely helped.
That's solid.
All right. Sean, Antony, do you guys have one?
I do have a pick. So my pick it's also a show, Succession. But it's on Now TV, so I guess that means it's on HBO or something. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but
It's not Max.
yeah, it's what?
HBO is so confusing to me because they have Max, which is a streaming service.
I think they're dropping that.
I don't know.
And they're dropping one, and I don't know what their actual streaming service is called. Is Now the name of it?
No, because now
know
is
it's
basically
Now.
Sky streaming service in the UK.
Oh, it's Max now? Why
Interesting.
don't they
well-
just call it HBO?
Why? Yeah. Why are we doing this to ourselves?
Yeah, I don't know.
They have a really good
is it-
like brand there.
Is it Comcast or I think Comcast bought Sky, and then therefore they're merging the services together. And I feel like Max does ring a bell, but I don't know. Who knows what they're doing? No idea. But it's called Now in the UK, so whatever the equivalent is in the US. Yeah, and Succession is great. Definitely my kind of show.
Yeah, I agree. It's very good.
You've seen it.
I have to watch. I watched 2 episodes and I was like, I don't care about these rich white people who are extremely spoiled.
No, but this is it. If you're
Sorry.
actively against them, you'll enjoy
Like,
it.
if I
because
want to
they-
watch rich white people who are extremely spoiled, I watch Gossip Girl because at least they're attractive rich white people.
Oh my god.
These are not attractive rich white people. So why am I doing this?
No, it's true.
When I search Succession streaming, I get HBO Max, so I don't know. It might just be different per country.
Who knows?
Yeah, because in today's age, of course, we want to split up regions and do all this stuff because that makes sense today.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Well, my quick pick is I feel really terrible making this pick. This is a waste of time. Okay, I will preface this, but I've been playing Marvel Snap recently because my normie friends have been saying, "Hey, try Marvel Snap. It's really fun." And I looked at it. I was like, "This is the worst. This is cancer. This is play to." It's
win,
like
yeah.
technically free to play, but then like it just shoves like loot boxes in front of you. But still, it's kind of fun to like play a card game type of thing. Because I never got into Hearthstone, which I think is like the popular
Hearthstone. World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft card thing. And I'm like, oh, this is so boring. Like, games now have like 3D graphics and all that, and you're there playing with cards. But
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of like math that's just enough, and it's just short enough that, hey, if you're waiting for an Uber and it's like 4 minutes away, you can play a good game, and so it's fun to play it for a little bit. But I'm definitely on that grind. I was like, I was making fun of the game, and now I'm like 100 levels in, and
Oh, jeez.
but I do like okay, here's my justification for why you should do it. These people have perfected consumer behavior. You know what I mean? Here's how you like learn the game, and here's how we progressively incentivize you to spend more and more time on the game by giving you a little bit of reward every few actions. And then here's an unveiling of a new character that you really like. So like my favorite Marvel character would be Spider-Man. And of course, you have to work extremely hard to get Spider-Man.
Of course. Yeah.
Of course you do, yeah. So the more popular characters you have to work harder to get. I have a game that I do that's really stupid also, but it's just like a time waster, like when you just want to waste like 5 minutes or whatever. Mine is Merge Mansion. It's just...
Merge Mansion? Okay.
Yeah. You just
Anyway,
merge things together. It's really stupid. It makes no sense.
Like I do think that like, a lot of us work on like, quote unquote more serious things, but we can always learn lessons from people whose their only job is to entertain you and for you to keep coming back. And I think, if you can kind of redirect some of that energy towards something good, I think that would be beneficial for the world, which is what I think Duolingo kind of does.
Yeah.
Even though, Duolingo has some issues.
Trying,
and
but-
I have said that it should not exist, but I know you're a daily active user.
Yeah. That's another thing. I do one thing though. I do one lesson and then I'm done with it. And I don't even know that I'm learning some. I'm better at speaking Spanish than I was last year when I started, but it doesn't help with the conversation. For foreign languages, you really need to speak it, and you need to speak it with native speakers to really understand it, and you just can't get that out of an app.
It'll come.
You think?
You can synthesize how hard is it to translate ChatGPT into different languages? It's not hard at all.
Interesting.
So
that's a good point, I guess.
So what is actually going to happen there with languages? Are they just going to disappear? Is there just going to be one language at some point?
Yeah. Everyone will speak Svelte.
Nice. That I can stand behind. All right. I have a pick. I haven't tried it yet, but recently there was a library called PartyKit that was open sourced, which is a library that lets you build collaborative experiences in your web apps, I guess.
Where did I just see this at? There's a talk.
Probably React Miami or Reactathon.
I don't know.
What is
Yes,
it?
React
What
Miami.
is it with all these React conferences?
It's a holdover from last decade.
All right. Yeah, that's it. That's basically it. You build collaborative stuff.
It's going to confuse me with Party Town and PartyKit. Too many party things.
Yeah. This is a real party because there are multiple people here. That's how you remember it.
Okay. Open source platform for collaborative applications. Interesting.
Yeah, and I think that's it. All right, cool. Everyone, thanks for listening. And we'll see you guys next week.
See you at Svelte Summit on Saturday.
At Svelte Summit on Saturday. Yes, that's it. Bye.
Later.
Bye.
Hey, it's Kevir. If you like the show, please drop a review on your favorite podcast player. It would help out a lot. Thanks.